Saya hari-hari mesti memakan pedas.
Les épices donnent un autre niveau de complexité au produit.
Chili adalah nyawa saya.
I've been to many places in the world, but the spices of Malaysia are the best.
ஒரு நல்ல சில்லி காரமாக இருக்க வேண்டும்.
我妈妈做的辣椒酱是全世界最好吃的辣椒酱。
Good chili or bad chili, I call the shots. Selecting the right chili is essential to prepare authentic Malaysian cuisine. Hexa has been pursuing the most delicious chili flavors since 2007. Making spices require a lot of good attention and details, just like making good coffee. There are hundreds of different kinds of chili in the world and countless recipes. My desire to make the best Malaysian tasting cuisine has brought me to many places. Quality of the ingredients determines how good the food can be. Only chilies that meets our requirement of shape, brightness, color, and gloss is eligible to be made into spices. We use an extremely accurate AI-powered selection process to identify the best chilies quickly and efficiently. When we set a goal, we intend to complete it. We take pride in assembling the necessary talents and tools. That's why we partner with Huawei in our mission to produce the best spices. Malaysians say chili is a meal. People don't simply just eat chili, they taste the struggle. They taste love. That tastes home. What makes a good chili? The best way to answer this question is to never stop seeking for a better answer. We have a mission to link traditions with the flavors in people's memories. Always.
Saya hari-hari mesti mau makan pedas.
Les épices donnent un autre niveau de complexité au produit.
Chili adalah nyawa saya.
I've been to many places in the world, but the spices of Malaysia are the best.
ஒரு நல்ல சில்லி காரமாக இருக்க வேண்டும்.
我妈妈做的辣椒酱是全世界最好吃的辣椒酱。
Good chili or bad chili, I call the shots. Selecting the right chili is essential to prepare authentic Malaysian cuisine. Hexa has been pursuing the most delicious chili flavors since 2007. Making spices require a lot of good attention and details, just like making good coffee. There are hundreds of different kinds of chili in the world and countless recipes. My desire to make the best Malaysian tasting cuisine has brought me to many places. Quality of the ingredients determines how good the food can be. Only chilies that meets our requirement of shape, brightness, color, and gloss is eligible to be made into spices. We use an extremely accurate AI-powered selection process to identify the best chilies quickly and efficiently. When we set a goal, we intend to complete it. We take pride in assembling the necessary talents and tools. That's why we partner with Huawei in our mission to produce the best spices. Malaysians say chili is a meal. People don't simply just eat chili, they taste the struggle. They taste love. That tastes home. What makes a good chili? The best way to answer this question is to never stop seeking for a better answer. We have a mission to link traditions with the flavors in people's memories. Always.
Saya hari-hari mesti mau makan pedas.
Les épices donnent un autre niveau de complexité au produit.
Chili adalah nyawa saya.
I've been to many places in the world, but the spices of Malaysia are the best.
ஒரு நல்ல சில்லி காரமாக இருக்க வேண்டும்.
我妈妈做的辣椒酱是全世界最好吃的辣椒酱。
Good chili or bad chili, I call the shots. Selecting the right chili is essential to prepare authentic Malaysian cuisine. Hexa has been pursuing the most delicious chili flavors since 2007. Making spices require a lot of good attention and details, just like making good coffee. There are hundreds of different kinds of chili in the world and countless recipes. My desire to make the best Malaysian tasting cuisine has brought me to many places. Quality of the ingredients determines how good the food can be. Only chilies that meets our requirement of shape, brightness, color, and gloss is eligible to be made into spices. We use an extremely accurate AI-powered selection process to identify the best chilies quickly and efficiently. When we set a goal, we intend to complete it. We take pride in assembling the necessary talents and tools. That's why we partner with Huawei in our mission to produce the best spices. Malaysians say chili is a meal. People don't simply just eat chili, they taste the struggle, they taste love. That tastes home. What makes a good chili? The best way to answer this question is to never stop seeking for a better answer. We have a mission to link traditions with the flavors in people's memories. Always.
Saya hari-hari mesti memakan pedas.
Les épices donnent un autre niveau de complexité au produit.
Chili adalah nyawa saya.
I've been to many places in the world, but the spices of Malaysia are the best.
ஒரு நல்ல சில்லி காரமாக இருக்க வேண்டும்.
我妈妈做的辣椒酱是全世界最好吃的辣椒酱。
Good chili or bad chili, I call the shots. Selecting the right chili is essential to prepare authentic Malaysian cuisine. Hexa has been pursuing the most delicious chili flavors since 2007. Making spices require a lot of good attention and details, just like making good coffee. There are hundreds of different kinds of chili in the world and countless recipes. My desire to make the best Malaysian tasting cuisine has brought me to many places. Quality of the ingredients determines how good the food can be. Only chilies that meets our requirement of shape, brightness, color, and gloss is eligible to be made into spices. We use an extremely accurate AI-powered selection process to identify the best chilies quickly and efficiently. When we set a goal, we intend to complete it. We take pride in assembling the necessary talents and tools. That's why we partner with Huawei in our mission to produce the best spices. Malaysians say chili is a meal. People don't simply just eat chili, they taste the struggle, they taste love. That tastes home. What makes a good chili? The best way to answer this question is to never stop seeking for a better answer. We have a mission to link traditions with the flavors in people's memories. Always.
Saya hari-hari mesti memakan pedas.
Les épices donnent un autre niveau de complexité au produit.
Chili adalah nyawa saya.
I've been to many places in the world, but the spices of Malaysia are the best.
ஒரு நல்ல சில்லி காரமாக இருக்க வேண்டும்.
我妈妈做的辣椒酱是全世界最好吃的辣椒酱。
Good chili or bad chili, I call the shots. Selecting the right chili is essential to prepare authentic Malaysian cuisine. Hexa has been pursuing the most delicious chili flavors since 2007. Making spices require a lot of good attention and details, just like making good coffee. There are hundreds of different kinds of chili in the world and countless recipes. My desire to make the best Malaysian tasting cuisine has brought me to many places. Quality of the ingredients determines how good the food can be. Only chilies that meets our requirement of shape, brightness, color, and gloss is eligible to be made into spices. We use an extremely accurate AI-powered selection process to identify the best chilies quickly and efficiently. When we set a goal, we intend to complete it. We take pride in assembling the necessary talents and tools. That's why we partner with Huawei in our mission to produce the best spices. Malaysians say chili is a meal. People don't simply just eat chili, they taste the struggle, they taste love. That tastes home. What makes a good chili? The best way to answer this question is to never stop seeking for a better answer. We have a mission to link traditions with the flavors in people's memories. Always.
Hi, good afternoon. Right, so I suppose this session that we come to the areas of AI is eventually going to be a backbone for all business. Right. So over here, welcome to all the SME communities in Malaysia, as well as the Facebook friends here. Right. So here there's a audience of about 8 panels here, right? So including myself and Katie, right? So before this session start, then maybe we just go through this agenda for today, right? So on this, we are now starting with these webinars. In this, we will be talking about some opening welcome remarks. Then we will pass to the EY to give some insight about the AI and this supply chain and SME business, right? So then we'll give this introduction of all the panels, and before we have key topic to discuss here, right? So the topic of discussion then will go into 3 areas. Later we go through one by one. Then before we end the session, we will have the floor to give a question, right? And then we will conclude it with some summary conclusions by individuals, right? So shall we start now, right? So basically, from what we see, the world is changing, right? Especially from the economic side, right? Things is moving fast from some of the segments, but some of the areas things are stagnant quickly, right? So from these areas, we see there's a lot of positive benefits from the convergence of digital technologies in some key areas like supply chain, logistics, e-commerce, right, services line, right. But nevertheless, what we also see, there's a constraint due to COVID. There's constraints on some of the activities like schooling, education, right, healthcare, right, and tourism, right. So the impact is huge, right? Especially come to the SME side, or suppose today the SME is driving 90% of the business in Malaysia and contributing to the more than 60% of the employment rate, right? But having said, still to convince, we see a downturn on the unemployment up to about 15.5, right? And even there's a deduction in terms of this EPP, right? So one thing we see positive here, right, is the online sale. Online sale is one of the areas that it picks up like 40%, right, compared to this other industry market, right. This shows the impact of the digital contributing to the SME people, right. So having said, on the Huawei side, we also see the Huawei industry insight, right, it cited that by 2025, 100% of companies will be using some form of cloud, and 97% of it will be using some form of AI as well in practicing this business, right. So with this, right, what we see is when technology becomes so crucial, so vital, right, in use for the business, it has to be very inclusive, right. It has to be allowed all the SMEs, right, you're able to enjoy the cutting edge technology, right? Not just the enterprise, not just the big corporate, right? In order for them to have a more easy use, efficient use of technology to increase their productivity and I would suppose the cutting cost on the operation, right? So on this, with the MTech and the Huawei, we have just signed this MOU to spearhead on the initiative to drive Malaysia's position as the heart of the digital Asian, right? So with this, we are focusing into how to enable and to facilitate the capacity building for businesses, but especially come to the small, medium, and all sides of the business in Malaysia, right? Embracing digitization, right? So leveraging on the power of the digital transformation, how we can realize the full potential of our Malaysia digital economy, right? Through the digital adoption here, right? So without further ado, maybe Xiaohui, you can give some insight, right, about this.
Sure. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So Xiaohui, I lead IT practice for Malaysia. I'm actually an engineer by training, working on production, maintenance, as well as transformation in industrial. So I've always been very passionate in terms of how to apply digital and technology in the local methods. So without further ado, so if I can share some of
Yeah, so now let me share the screen. Maybe I help you to do the
so maybe if we move on to the next page, if everyone can see some of the screen here.
Next page.
Okay, so I think this is very, very strict kind of joke that has been going around during COVID-19, right? Who is actually driving the digital transformation of your company? Right? It's no longer CEO, it's no longer people, right? It's COVID-19, your new physics, your new physics what we are seeing is overnight, okay, not overnight, business situated over the span of a few weeks. Students start going online education. Parents start going into online purchases. Mom and pop methods have to go online in terms of so that they can continue to get published. Before this, even the high access is very skeptical about doing a lot of online transactions. But you're right? Suddenly, cybersecurity or kind of threats longer is a priority because we need to get reach in so COVID-19 is there in terms of protecting our life. With that, we actually did a survey. It can help to move to the next page. We did a survey with 700 companies in Malaysia, large companies, large and listed companies, as well as small, medium enterprises. And you will see even large and listed companies more differentiated from MSP. They all felt that this online connectivity communication in terms of reaching out to customers, suppliers, is actually one of the difficulties in the case, right? So the point here is that a lot of companies out there still are just right area are not really about technology. No, the fact even large and business companies face this challenge. Next slide, please. And we all kind of aware that COVID is likely not going away for the next 18 to 24 months or until the vaccine is out. So we have, in our view, is that for the next 18 months, for supply chain in terms of getting a reliable and resilient supply chain to operate effectively, number one, end-to-end visibility is actually the number one factor in terms of for the supply chain. However, from another survey on online poll, only 6% of respondents felt that they have the capability to achieve the end-to-end, right? And actually, out of the survey, only 10% of the business owners who are the supply chain activities felt that they are actually ready for this environment of COVID. So, it has happened that now we just need to protect the move beyond because and make us a little bit more comfortable in the next slide, please. So, in terms of some of the technology and systems, what are the focus or difficulties in terms of companies in Asia in terms of facing COVID-19 failure? And if you see, comparing the small and medium enterprise, which is the bar highlighted yellow, versus the large and medium company, expand upgrade technology almost the same response, right? Even large companies out there, they need to expand or upgrade technology. However, if you look at the provide training and enable effective use of online technology, a large group of small medium enterprise felt that they need to provide training, they needed more training to help their employees to adopt technology. So this is actually one of the areas that I think with the reasons a lot of Java and so on, there's a lot of programs being crafted to address these things. Next slide, please. Now, a lot of companies, large and small companies, going on technologies, but what type of technologies that they are using? From cloud to AI to IoT, data and advanced analytics, and intelligent process automation. Companies responded on those type of AI, which collecting technologies, right? And able to give more return comparing to other technologies. Some of the technologies don't have the best, so the return almost flatter. But AI, companies who can gain on AI actually felt that you get large custom rewards. So that's a business case there. Let's move on. So there's a business case there, but how this company able to gain much return compared to other companies? What we have felt is that I need to show my face a bit. Sorry. So coming from a adoption of technology perspective, what we have seen also for a technology to be able to really give the benefits of business. It's not just technology alone. It has to be wrapped around the people and also the process that's aligned to the business needs. So we call that, in terms of creating a value, wrapped around human and process, adopting the technology at speed, as well as having the innovation skill. Coming back to supply chain, essentially, what is AI in supply chain as a center? We apply it from supplier to manufacturing to distribution, to retail locations to customers. Essentially, what we want to achieve is that coming just from the lab, which is giving you the visibility, knowing what's happening around, and doing the reporting and other things. What we aim to achieve is that to bring you to the quadrant to the right, which is a digitally enabled and autonomous supply network, which can predict and forecast and give you much flexible and agile in terms of responding to or anticipating and respond to what is going to happen. Right? That moves you from a operating on a linear supply chain to a network ecosystem on the right. Obviously, it's riding on the whole platform of data, internal, external, big data, data, which is processed on the layer of AI, NLP, machine learning, which is supported and enabled by cloud. Next slide, please. So these are some of the benefits that we have seen from companies big and small, global and within this region, that they're able to gain benefits from P&L as well as from balance sheet perspective, from adopting technology and digital. Next slide. Having said that, that's a large frame in terms of how much benefits that we can realize. So instead of realize the minimum benefits, we all aim to realize the maximum benefits. And just to share one of the examples here for one of the cosmetic companies. We all know cosmetics or actually structural garments. One of the industries that get impacted most. I'm working from home, right? I don't need to put on makeup. I don't need to put on my clothes to go and work. So, but how this company is able to very quickly respond by adopting the right digital technology and continue to respond to the wide throughout the COVID. On the left, companies look into a full control tower for terms of getting the end-to-end digital visibility of the supply chain. They don't jump into the solution. First, they trigger with a good business mistake. What do you actually want to achieve out of the supply chain? What are the information that you want to get out of your customer set? Which particular product portfolio areas that is doing well within this period, or doing well within this period, and which particular region that needs to focus on, either doing some restructures and so on, end-to-end or to switch strategy. So applying AI in helping the outreach is kind of thing. The company is able to build very in-depth understanding at higher level. Supply is one of the major issues that involves companies face the continuity of supply. And the company is not just really looking first-tier suppliers. The AI helps learning data, analyzing second-tier, third-tier, and even fourth-tier suppliers, anticipating which of these have problems and challenges in the company, and can predicting forecast what will happen, especially the baseline situations. With AI and analytics, it gives a very easy show, which is the graphic example, that is all about scenario planning. What is this supplier not able to understand the raw material? What is that what is going to get closed down or congestion? COVID-19 affected. With all these business in the world, it was forecast to in the right situation to improve that. So I hope to show some of the good examples how to apply this in the business. So where do you start? And in this time, we're talking about a lot of the producing activities that is not safe. So what is safe is actually a 5-stage. We start with stage 1 of POC pilot. With that, within a good 2-4 months, you go and launch your social media. From there, you expand. You can focus on digital applications. You can integrate and scale it. And of course, stage 5 is where we talk about the get to the national stage. Yes. Okay. I think in conclusion, through some of the lessons learned, and try to summarize it in terms of applying digital or AI practices. First, start with assess the current products and services that can improve. Secondly, then develop capabilities, internal and foreign broad capabilities, to continue reinvent and implement better experience. Third is develop a robust value measure so that you can monitor and assess whether you achieve the desired benefit. Point number 4, speed is more important than production. Launch small scale, secure quick wins, and scale up pace. Okay. Last page, I hope to get this something for everyone to ponder. Really, now is the time to get control of the current crisis. Invest in building some of the more resilient supply chain so that the new normal can bring you forward. Thanks all for my sharing today. And back to you, Kim.
Yeah. So thanks a lot. Thanks for the Xiaohui for your insightful speech. Right. So perhaps maybe before we start the panel, right, I would like to send an offer here to the floor on the SME that attending, right? So if you see on the screen there's a bottom right hand side, there's a QR code, right? So this is 100 rupees different first come first serve basis, right? Worth more than 1,000 ringgit, right? For you to do a tryout, right? Basically, Jiahui just now mentioned, right? Expanding and upgrading technology capabilities is one of the areas that we're focusing on, right? So, and to do this, I would suppose everything needs to start from the first step, right? So, POC, pilot, creating a equipment yourself, right? Adopting this digital technology in your company, right? Experience yourself on how the digital technology can help in your business, right? This is the first step for moving, right? So give yourself this scan on the QR code at the right bottom corners of the screen, right? To do that, right? So further on this, right? I would like to start introducing some of our panels here, right? To get everybody familiar with the name before we are proceeding with some of the discussion topics, right? Here, everybody knows on the EY consulting, right? So we start from this Kwan Hong, right? The group CEO or CFO of the revenue group, right? Beside the Jiahui, right? So and then we have this TSC, right? The national VP, right? For the this SME Association of Malaysia, right? So follow up with that is Dr. Tao, right? Director for the Data Ecosystem Development of MDEC, right? So and Mr. Rajat, right? The GM for the this data center cloud and internet, GM1, right? And then we have there's Rafi, right? Vice President of Group, right? Skyline, as well as this Shen Yao, right? COO for the Logistic Worldwide Express, right? So myself, I'm Katie, right? I'm the head of Huawei Cloud Malaysia, right? So without further ado, I will suppose we start our discussions surrounding this how to explore the AI and tie with this SME business, right? I will suppose the first question that I would like to forward to the CSC, right? So focusing back to the Malaysia, because this time we have all the big mega trends, right? So now come back to Malaysia, come back to reality, right? So based on the previous and the current initiatives that the SME Association has, right? So what kind of sentiments on the ground for the SME community in Malaysia in regards for the digital adoption?
Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah.
To be frank, because of the COVID-19, like the first issue that show us how we were ranking is very important. It's changed our normal lives, and especially SME. Before this, most SME don't even know what is Zoom, what is online or e-commerce. And I would like to analyze two different stages. The SME machine approach. There are micro SME, mid-size SME, there are large SME, large SME. So if you say in general on digital adoption, right? I would say for example, in general, what is your adoption? Do I have online accounts, do online trading, e-commerce trading, am I considered digital? Do I have the online accounting system, parameter, or am I considered the digital adoption? So it's not like this, but in general, Malaysians are very, I would say not very smart, they're very deep change, very fast. Things come like that, very move on. I believe all of us is our parents. How they know now, even your wife, right? So before that, they don't even bother. Okay. So things change, and very fast. Within 1 month, a lot of webinars coming out, a lot of information. There are a lot of also this platform provided are providing traffic platform, whether it is online something, whether they are online or AI for example. So if you go to the mid and high, most of them are still trying. Basically, they do not know what they want to do. Suddenly, you feel that the lack of manpower. So in fact, we have 100 workers now, we only have 10 workers to work. So you can get even your essential product you can produce it in consumer. You cannot anyway. So those changes come. So last year, I mean, before even the pandemic, MIDA and they have already had programs. IL4 was no data adoption, and readiness assessment. There are programs provided, even grants provided by the government. Some 70, 30, some 50 grants. And I think last year they target 500 companies. This year they target 450 companies. Right? That means, imagine, this is their target, right? So far, we have the report from MIDA that 650 companies got approved. Ready. That means they are ready to change potential using AI, using whatever to expect from for their perspective, whatever. Many Americans can plan. So you can see that the changes is there, what changes is there. It's not always so there. But in Malaysia, we have so many SMEs, right? Like almost a million. Even the large SME comprises a number of them, but only 600 just ready to go. So it's still way behind what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? Way behind a lot of companies. SME especially don't know. So it's very important that we have a lot of good. So this is basically the scenario now.
So, so from your perspective, how you see this digital adoption?
You're asking from the get-go.
Yeah.
The AI adoption, I think even before AI adoption, it's a question of how many of the SMEs adopting technology or adopting digital. Mentioned just now, it is 40%. And the technical adoption, that would mean even AI probably going to be even lower than that. So that the adoption of technology, and for SME, they probably don't even know whether it's AI or not AI. It doesn't matter, or for them, it's just a matter of survival, a matter of how they can be more efficient for productivity for their group. I think this is the issue that we have today for SMEs, as mentioned just now as well. We need to educate more to the SMEs. How is this benefiting? But even if it is benefiting, so how are they supposed to make sense of it? Whether the cost gonna make their business even better, or they're gonna survive the economic that we are facing. So that is the challenge of the sector. So the adoption is still low, but the opportunity will be very big for the nation, not just for the SME, for the nation, right? Because the SME is 98%, and they contribute what, 36% of the GDP. Yeah, so if that is the case, we need to help them to adopt technology, adopt the AI, where we need. It is now 50% AI to have that good set to even more 50%. That would be great for the SME, and that would be great for the nation. For us, we are today all this response to the COVID. We are today building a cloud infrastructure that's capable of the AI. So moving forward, looking forward, so we would hope we can have the SME for the nation as well.
So to the Dr. Chow, so what kind of brick and mortar business organization do you foresee will benefit the SMEs in the future?
All right, so if you look at this, the project has view that currently in the area of retail and government, an area where we have big in terms of adoption of technology and this will continue to grow. We believe that and this is an area where in order for you to do AI, people need to realize that you need to be digital in the first place. You need data. Right? Data drives AI, right? And what people say is data rich SMEs would benefit tremendously from that, right? Especially those potentially in the F&B business, they're collecting a lot of data from point of sales, from clients and whatnot, so they can benefit from this in terms of improvement, increase customer satisfaction, and also engaging their clients, right? E-commerce similarly as well. They have a lot of digital data. They know the transactions, so they tend to benefit from that as well, right? At the same time, other sectors, we need to look at reduction of workforces and also to make workforces more productive. They need to use some form of AI technology. Service industry standpoint, I think they have been interrupted by the robotic RPA, robotic process automation, right? So a lot of work these days can be done using some form of automation, AI sort of intelligence sort of automation, right? So that industry is also being disrupted in a way. I think in the future we'll see a lot more professional services to be disrupted by the use of AI. For example, in the legal industry, right? A lot of this work, repetitive work, can be done through AI, right? To a certain extent, even accountancy as well, right? And because of this, I think it's important that the C-levels of businesses, be it accountants, directors, need to understand the need to push for digitization and automation. And MDAC has been working with a lot of these groups of people, the Malaysian Institute of Accountants, the corporate directors, association and whatnot. Right, so we really need to push this, the digital adoption as a first step, but slowly we need to push, companies who are in the digital adoption to move towards being an AI-ready organization and to embrace AI for greater productivity and also efficiency.
Yeah. So from what I hear from you, I would suppose data really fuels the disruptive business model in AI, right? So I would suppose this is the next wave of this demand in the market, right? But having said, I would suppose talent is one of the limitations for the whole potential unleashed, right? So I suppose with the Rafi SkyMind focusing very much into the AI ecosystem building in Malaysia, right? So especially come to the talent development as far as innovative applications in AI. So how how you can share more about the latest development in this space on the talent side, and how SME can benefit from that?
So I think for talent, it's not only for Malaysia, right?
Anywhere
in the world. I would say the first world problem. When you evolve from one technology to another technology, especially currently moving into AI. Every company and everyone wants the AI to be in place, but whether they know or not what AI is all about is another story. And to build that is also another story. So, like how SkyMind is actually taking or playing our part in building this ecosystem is where we nurture the talent ourselves. We are investing into opening up institutions, to get these people to come in and actually have a feel of an actual industry case experience. I'm not throwing them textbook. I'm not throwing them case that already happened. I'm actually throwing them an actual project that we have, build it, deliver it. One of the initiative that we're actually doing right now is basically we run this program called deep learning CDLE, deep learning certificate, right? So it's not a free program, it's a paid program. Why we want it to be paid? Because we want the commitment from the students. But once the student pass, immediately the next day we offer them a placement with our company, and I think that our offer as of now is actually one of the highest in the market, regardless. We are not talking about experienced coders, we are talking about a new coders. You know, whether you have degree, whether you don't have degree, but we want to see that passion in you. The moment you pass, we take you in, we give you real life projects, right? And this project is not only concentrating in Malaysia. We have projects that coming in from all over the world. But why we are actually putting an effort in Malaysia, because we want to make Malaysia as instead of downloaders. You know, I think it's enough for us to keep relying on technology that we don't build. You know, we want to build. We have the talent. If you look at surrounding Southeast Asia, right? Our own people are the C-level. The main engineers, you know, for Intel, for, you know, you name it, a lot of this multinational company having their top-notch talent actually from Malaysia. And we want to bring that back. We want to build and nurture the ecosystem right at home.
Yeah, what you say is right. Right, I suppose there's in order for the SME to undergo the journey of digitization, there's a few areas, few components that they really need to take into mind. Right, first of all is technologies, right, availability for them, right, get access to the technology, to the latest exposure of the AI, right. But having said, you must have the talents, right, to be there to continue to sustain the innovations on the technology in business, right? So, but having said, I will suppose this will also very important when we come to this area of adoption, which is facilitation from the respective parties, right? So on this, I will suppose the model is very interesting, right? Whoever that will able to participate in undergoing the talent development, they get employed, they get hired, right? They can continue for them to move up this journey of digitization. So this is where I suppose we can start our innovation. We can have our own IP, right? Show to the market, right? We are using our own solution. We are using our own product, made in Malaysia, right? For Malaysia, right? So if when we come from this focus areas in the in the AI and the SME business, right? I suppose it would be good, but we would basically better if we can even zoom into some areas, right? I suppose one of the areas that touching most of the SME is about the integrated supply chain, right? If you agree. So on this, I suppose Chia Hui also have mentioned a lot pertaining to the how when you talk about the supply chain, right? What you're actually looking into the supply chain itself, right? So what you want from the adopting this supply chains process, technologies and services, right? In order for you to work out what kind of outcome. So on this, maybe Chia Hui can share more about what kind of AI adoptions, right? You have assisted in the supply chain sectors in Malaysia.
Yeah, sure. I think a bulk of the use case of AI that we have worked on and also have seen company work on is really how to make sure all the data analytics add on to the data analytics work to provide that level of intelligence, forecast and predict for you to respond in a more agile and responsive manner. Right? It's really ranged from the procurement and supplier end in terms of having the AI to continue to learn all your supplier base, learning and categorize them together and giving you potential spend profile, the supplier risk, right? Associated factors to the suppliers, and from there learning the supplier risk telling you what would be the potential exposure before for example, impacted by COVID, that there will be the potential supplier may go into default, impacting your supply chain. You can then react and get a backup supplier and work accordingly. Right? From the manufacturing perspective, especially for SME, because operations is so lean, margin is tight, cash flow is tight, cannot afford to go on error. Having AI to help learn your process, manufacturing process or production process in terms of predicting the quality of output, so that you don't produce something and then you realize that, oh, it's of the quality and you have to scrap it and then it goes to waste, right? So that actually helps the control of the processing, reducing waste, help you have a better control in your production cost as well. Another very good example that I have seen is customer outreach. Even with the COVID and a lot of F&B going online, right? Potentially learning from the customer base, if this customer logged in, what was the previous order food preference behavior, right? If this customer logged in, use that to predict what kind of meal that you need to pre-prepare upfront, so that you can have a faster delivery. But at the same time, you don't prepare the meals, but then no one orders as it goes to waste. So this one, some of the F&B is also getting into very good adoption. So we really see a good adoption in terms of from supplier end, production end, and also from the customer end. That's helping to control the cost, and potentially also to grow the revenue.
So, but having said, maybe it's an open question to all, right? So, especially during this COVID pandemic situations, right? So, the needs of SME in adoptions could become more apparent, right? So, what is your thought about this statement? Maybe any one of you would like to have a response. Right.
Your main question is on what adoption in terms of
SME adoption for digital in business, right? So, do you agree that it is become more apprehended for them, right? So, this is something that the SME should do more, to look into more.
Right. I think
having said that,
we should do more.
Yeah.
But the issue is what to do, what they can get and what kind of solution is available is good for them. I think it's an example of the MDEC digitalization grant, the ESP program that they are running. Right? The take-up rate is very low, right? I don't know why, but we won't analyze what is the fact, why is that happening. Maybe part of it because Bank Simpanan Nasional is very slow in accepting it. They themselves are not digitized. We have made a lot of complaints. Why we choose a bank that do not even have a digitalization process? For the first fact, if you want to get some grant from them, you need to go to the bank. Now with the KYC, with all the system available, we should consider not to go there because MCO, you can't move. Right? So those are the things I say that, to my viewpoint, to all members, there are a lot of people who need. A lot of them are not being educated to get where, how, right? And then put the facts are then a lot of Malays who know English, a lot of Chinese who don't know English. So they will be very, very scared or very afraid of going even to visit and to find out more. So they'll come to us. So the advice is, agency do a lot of things, and that do a lot of things. MIDA, even KSO, they've done a lot of things, but it's not thing. Like I say, up to everybody. I have a webinar yesterday with KSO directors. I said, yeah, you have all this, you have been dispersing it. A lot of complaints from market. We don't get our waste subsidy cost. Where's the money? Right? But you must inform them what's happening, right? Because in your website, they did not put out that KPI will be affected. So, but those are the things that we need information to go through the relevant association. The association play a part. We will do it. They are close to it. They will come to us. but they may not want to go to the agency. So they expect that, say again, education is important. People like providers are important. Telecom is very important. If telecom can reduce the rate by half again the fees, you're very happy.
Having said that, when we come to SME association on the road in this, right? So a lot of SMEs are coming to you, right? So from this, do you able to speculate or do you able to see what kind of these statistics they are looking at, especially come to the areas of logistics, supply chain, and retail sectors, right?
I think we constantly engage with them and we do survey. You do specific survey. If let's say you are look on retail, what they need, what kind of solution they have, then we can do a survey and get back to them, right? But as a NGO, we do not have enough fund to run. Sometimes doing a survey is not easy. You do to promote, you do to send out, even subscribe for emails, blasting also costs money. So we hope that agency can help us, support us. At least we can do together. That I can get more statistically what they call this kind of survey to go to them. The last time we did one when Njana Prihatian coming, we got 16,000 response, which is not bad. If you don't get that kind of response, and now we're doing another one. This coming out these few days, they ask what happened now. Do you get a grant? Do you get this? We also ask for digitization grant. We ask a couple of questions very strict and towards the finance institution, whether you think moratorium is important to continue. So those are the things we do. First, to find effect. Let's say now go to target to digitization. Then we can have a serious question. Because sometimes we go to the government agency question, I'm sorry to say that, it's long, right? I take 15-20 minutes here. Nobody has that kind of patience to do that, especially SMEs. Short, sweet, right? Then we can do it and get to find what they want.
Maybe I can add on a little bit. I think the word shouldn't be it's more important to SMEs, but I think during this COVID period, SMEs want to look into what's the easiest way to digitalize. I'm actually very active in the Chinese Chamber of Commerce. I'm actually a deputy chair for the Digital Economy Committee. So we talk about SME. Which one of them have not tried Zoom before? I think a lot of people heard about Zoom. So this is one way of digitalization. But I think SME's digitalization, first thing first, is about dollar and cents. How can I resume my business in the shortest period of time? So you see a lot of retail stores, some friends in retail chains, some friends are running their own small kedai runcit and whatnot. The easiest way for them to digitalize is to start going Facebook, to go live and start selling themselves. Right. So this is one way of easiest way, zero investment, start selling, and then using a more traditional way for people to pay. Basically, you pay, then you just send me your receipt and whatnot. So a lot of people want to do that. We also see a lot of effort from MDEC as well, Go e-commerce team, trying to get people to do promotion. We do a lot of sharing as well in the Digital Economy Committee, getting people to come in and share, okay, what are the experience you have and what opportunity you see. I think the other thing is back office. One of my friends, he's a distributor for one of the cloud accounting solution. SMEs realize that during this time I cannot go to the office. How am I going to do my payroll and my accounts? So suddenly a lot of people jump into going to cloud accounting. I think this kind of effort, going around to be able to view your accounts, do your payroll and whatnot, make it very easier for them. Then they realize the kind of convenience that you can get. Yeah. So I think this COVID, the good thing that come out of it is that SME no longer see that digitalization is something for the big boys. If I don't do it, I will die. Yeah. So it's a must. They want to do it.
Yeah. So if you hear this correctly, I suppose it's very much into what kind of application, what kind of solutions that is out there, then how you apply it, how you use it in your business, right? So on this, I would suppose Rafi, maybe you can share more what kind of exciting AI tech advancement here for the SME, especially come to the retail, logistics, supply chain, right?
Before your question also, I'd like to echo what CS said, what Alicia said. SME themselves need to understand that adopting technology would actually help and change, right? But it always go back to this one question: how much is it going to cost me, right? A lot of company founders, owners, when you talk about putting some the word is there. I put in 100,000 ringgit. What am I getting out of it? Whether it gives me the result that I wanted or not. And this is where I really, really feel that the government agencies or people like TM will come in and help. I don't think asking TM to reduce their price would be a good way to go about it. Very easy because if TM would reduce the cost of bandwidth, which I think 33 million people here in Malaysia would want it, they can't do innovation in-house. It takes longer for them to do innovations, right? To put everything in place within their own domain. But the Catholic should be, I do not know how I'm going to put this into contact where I'm hoping that people out there are not going to be angry at me also as well. Our SME, I would say, slightly pampered. Sisi, you have to tell me if I'm actually wrong. There's not a lot of government agency out there that actually provide what Malaysian government has actually given to us. So now what they need is basically to take that step, take that courageous step in order to make that changes, right? Don't talk about AI. Just moving into cloud. That's a big step already. Centralizing your data, right, into a single location. Hoping it's not your hard drive back home, right? Would give you tremendous results. If at all you want to go and do innovation within your own workspace. As Facebook, it's a free avenue. Use it, right? Learn how to use Facebook Market or any other e-commerce platform out there. Feel it, right? Instead of highly depending on the government, asking the government to help them to change. We cannot change if we ourselves don't want to change, right? So, to answer your question, Katie, in terms of supply chain, we have not done it here in Malaysia, but we are 80% there. We are actually working with one of the largest logistic companies here in Malaysia in doing complete digital transformations. Our friend from IDC, that I'm sure whenever you go into a logistic company as of now, this traditional logistic company, the most important part within the company is actually the whiteboard. Right? This is where they do their logistic arrangement, their driver allocation, phone number, and whatever not. You imagine if that person who actually have access or to have access to the information of the driver got sick today. The whole thing will go and forth. So when we did go into this logistic or the supply chain company, I was actually very, very shocked. Looking at stuff that has been done manually still. I'm not talking about even Excel. I'm talking about papers and pen. But one thing is good. I think the one thing that they actually adopt, a digital adoption that they actually did, is actually a touch and go reload card, which they place in the office, for the driver to top up their touch and go card. And one of the reasons why they have that in place is basically to track the users' routing. Where are they going, when, everything, and so on. So the one is there. The how is where I think need a lot more work, and then to transform a company like this to adopt digital is not cheap. I think one of the area that SkyMind actually committed in doing in building in Malaysia is a program that we call Launchpad. In a way, I take the risk away from the corporate in adopting technology. The number one risk factor that they have is always investment. I take that away from them and saying that I will do this, I will deliver this. The moment I give you the result that you want, then we talk about commercial terms. But prior to that, I will just build and keep building until you are happy.
Interesting. Right.
I
So-
think one of the questions you asked just now, right? If I want to launch technology digital, how much is it going to cost me? I guess if I flip the questions around is, if I don't go into digital and technology, how much is it going to cost me? That you will get a shot, right? So a lot of time probably can quantify that from the other perspective. I have a friend who runs a training center. Has been running classroom training, refused to go online. During COVID lockdown, MCO, classroom training cannot happen. You either go online or you just wait for the few months without revenue, right? So suddenly, online training is not effective, low adoption, become no longer valid. You just have to do it.
Echoing the questions from the answer from Chia Hui, right? So I suppose maybe CS, you can tell us more. What is actually refraining? What is actually become an obstacle for the SME to really look into this digitization? When they are looking into digital in their business, what they are actually looking into?
You mean that basically you see, there's, just as I say again, there are three types of media SME, right? Micro, 5% and below, 5 to 75, or to the medium, and the rest large. So it all has a different challenges to face. Like for the micro SME, again, if I pay 5,000, what do I get? If I get a grant 5,000, what do I get? But basically, going for that, they also consider, like the PSP program, some of the program, you have to pay next year again. Because sometimes you don't know, they thought I pay one time, that's it. Crowd services, every year you pay, every month you pay. But that brings you the efficiency, the saving that you have. You have to calculate a longer time. And so, that relies on the media, I would say provider, the technology solution provider, digital solution provider for that matter. There comes to another point, which I think we also have to start promoting. And that, I think they're doing that. Some big technology. Some person, you can do from home. You don't have to work for people, the young generation. They don't want to work. They can produce the services, consultation. Right? A lot of them, for that matter, they do not know how they can save from it. What can they use for solutions? And they're not shy to ask. Very shy to ask. And these are the challenges. They are very good. They do not want to show off. They don't know anything. Right? And so that's the main challenge. You cannot break yourself. How are you going to go through that? Like that's the stuff. But you tell them you can save this much money after you use it for many years. If you have this solution for you, someone has that. If you have web banner, they cannot listen. We still believe somehow or other we have to do a face to face. So then they are okay. You ask them to ask you some question on any web banner. You don't get question, right? Only those people speak, they're not bring any value to you. So that's the challenges. Even for the largest and the big one, they know already. They're going to it. They're going to it. There's not an issue for them to do. And they know some of the government agency has also grant and assistance, a lot of things. I was just talking to Rafi just now about even MIMOS, that they have also a portal they build to provide free service consultations for AI, for smart automation. But no, it's not marketing enough. When I ask them why they do that, we are not ready, we are waiting for budget to do the plastic whatever. But that is not, if you don't tell us, we don't know. If you're going to find a way to want to spend money, then it doesn't happen.
So looking into this, maybe we can take this worldwide logistics as one of example, right? So understand through a conversation I have with you, right? So understand that you're also doing some form of study, some form of analysis, right, pertaining to the digital adoption, right? So what takes you moving ahead on this, and how you find it you're going to benefit from you if you proceeding on this, and is it going to be I would say a loss, right, or is it going to be this drawback in your business if you don't adopt it?
I think where we come from, we are relatively asset-like as a logistic company. We use a lot of tech to connect our services to different countries. So we always believe doing more with less, leveraging partner strength to actually connect our services to different places. So first thing first is what can we do with our platform, with our technology. So from day one, when we first started our services in cross-border, we will find all the established logistic companies in different places to integrate with them. So that's a fundamental part in terms of automation, in terms of being able to connect to them digitally and then provide the services and make sure the information flows seamlessly. So that was the first phase as far as our technology is concerned. If you are running export services from China or from Malaysia into different countries, one of the biggest challenges in cross-border is always about custom clearance, understanding the rules and regulations in those countries. So to be able to translate that to people in the warehouse is not easy. Because people will work in the night shift in the operation, they just want to get the job done. If you serve 20 old countries or 30 old countries, telling them all the different rules and regulations, they're going to have problems. So this is where we actually look into using data, look into rules and systems to build that in our system. So whenever we hire any part-timers, anyone doing night shift, they don't have to do any decision. The system will actually learn and do decisions for them. Doing cross-border is not just about whether you are sending to the right place, but whether you are going through the right procedure to do your custom clearance. So we also implemented certain capabilities in our solution where you identify certain restrictions, certain goods category that require special permit and whatnot to do clearance. So that helps us to actually reduce any conflicts with the customs at the destination. We also try to do a bit more in terms of delivery as well. In Malaysia, we do our one last mile. So this is where we do our delivery app. So having a lot of GPS data, your addresses, mapping of data actually creates a lot of fun for us. So we are also looking areas which are the places where it's a bit harder to actually deliver. So are they business addresses or are they residential addresses? Why is it a hotspot over here where they are always very difficult to deliver? Is it because the guardhouse is giving us problem? Or is it because this is a condo, most of the time people are not in? So being able to classify the address will actually help the guys to decide, okay, maybe I would prioritize this first. I know during this time there's no point for me to deliver. Nobody's at home. So I might as well focus on commercial areas first. Office building, chances of deliver everything at one go is very high. Yeah, but condominium of the 20 over floors, most likely you can deliver only one. So these are the things that we do also. Then some of the areas we also want to look at is, again, doing more with less. How can we actually help our accounting staff to actually do the billing, the invoices, without actually increasing our headcount in the finance department. So most of the time when we do billing, other than generating the amount correctly, we also want to see whether if there's any potential fraud in terms of declaration from the customers. Say for example, a laptop cannot only be 100 grams. Okay, and of course, so this kind of thing can only be done if regularly you actually have this kind of data in the system, and the system will come out and generate, okay, potentially these are the ones having issues, so why don't you focus your time on this, and the rest can be automated. Yeah. So especially during this situation, I think a lot of staff are afraid of losing their jobs and whatnot. We try to make our processes as easy as possible. Try to build in some intelligence in the system, so that even when part-timers they come and work with us, right, for them to actually start using the app or start going to the warehouse to do the work, it's just a matter of a few steps. Yeah. So that way for us it's easy because we can engage these part-timers more readily. We can convert our fixed cost into variable cost. At the same time, these people can come and collaborate with us and help us to actually fulfill our services. Yeah.
So if you are going to adopt this technology, right, so what are the top 3 areas that you look into, you were able to help you?
I think when we talk about adopting AI and building AI, it's 2 different things. So the other thing is how much data that you have. Data and AI machine learning is very closely correlated. So we were very ambitious then. We say we want to build our own AI, but it's impossible. The kind of people that you want to have. So this is where partners come in. Microsoft, Huawei, Ali Cloud. So we discuss, decision maker like me, we have to learn to visualize. AI is a very abstract word. The only way you can visualize it is actually look at the process and the output. Yeah. So this is where we rely on our partners. Then we work with them and say, okay, what kind of data set can you provide for us to build into it? Yeah. So we don't believe that technology, everything have to build ourselves, but rather how do you make yourself part of the ecosystem together?
I see. Right. So I would suppose for another example, right? We look into the retail sectors, right? Or suppose on the Guan Hong side, right? We have done a lot with the merchants. We have done a lot with the SME on the ground, right? SME on the mobilities, right? Moving around, right? So how actually the retail sectors SMEs can benefit from adopting to these digitals, and how you are actually encouraging them and promote this to them?
I think before we start off, I think through the conversations that we have, we really gather there's very important things that we need to do to reach out to the SMEs, that they have to change the mindset. I think a lot of the dilemma or the challenges that they face, like here say, basically one thing is they don't know how to reach out. Secondly, even I reach out, I don't know what to do. And also some pointers is like I say that if the cost is actually it's a very heavy portions that everyone's looking into an investment cost, and then the success or failure is really depending on the cost. So what I would want to start off with is that in terms of benefits, rather than we look at the benefits, we should look at what are the challenges that they are facing. And then from the challenges that they look at, then we probably will see that actually I should go into the digital adoptions, go into the AI. A lot of companies, especially SME, they actually see the cost. Let's say it's like because we are doing a payment, so they actually see something like accepting a cashless payment. The cost associated is very expensive, because to them every single dollar that I can save is very important to my company. I can squeeze the last cent is very good at business. But one thing they don't really realize is that actually by just accepting cash, there's also have a cost associated to them. Let's say for example, I will call this as an opportunity cost. So let's say for example, if you are a restaurant, okay, and then you're just only accepting cash, the very immediate issues came is that if you're only accepting cash, let's say for example, today my wallet I only have 10 ringgit. I walk into the shop, the sales that you can get from me is only 10 ringgit max. So in a way, you are restricting per spendings per user or the table. Of course, some people will say, hey, if I go to a mama store, one roti canai, one teh tarik, how much is going to cost? But imagine if all of us here together, we go to the mama, and then so happens we embrace cashless now, and then there's nothing, okay, all kumpo, we only have 50 ringgit. Maximum sales that you can actually earn from this group is 50 ringgit. But the moment, if let's say you accept credit cards, you accept wallets, all those things, then your sales is beyond that 50 ringgit. Because if let's say you order mee goreng, or some other thing, combo together, then it will become a very big chunk. So in a way, it itself actually created more sales for you. This is one opportunity cost you will forgo if you accept cash. Another examples that, or the challenge that they face is that it will be pretty much on the SMEs will look at how much cash flows do I need to keep in the cash register if I'm actually accepting cash only. Should I keep 10 ringgit notes, 50 1 ringgit notes? What about coins? So all these factors is like it will play a very dramatic role in terms of driving the sales. So let's say for example, if today I have 100 ringgit, I go in, I use 100 ringgit to buy. Probably I would have actually used up all your notes in the cash register. And let's say next person comes in also use a big notes. Immediately you don't have a loose change to pay. So then probably the customer experience will be very bad. I say probably this is the cash ready, next time I will not come back. So then you lost that touch with the customer. Of course, if we are just purely talking about like cash, there are also some very tedious processes. Let's say for example, at the end of the day, you need to calculate how much cash you collected and then match back to the total sales. the reconciliations. But don't forget, when you are counting the cash and doing the reconciliations, all this will actually take time. It's actually human time that you spend. If let's say after 6 o'clock I close shop, I could actually just go back, but I still need to spend time to do all these reconciliations. And worse still, I think we do have some merchants last time when they share with us, they say that I cannot even go home if I cannot reconcile a 20 cent. So that's the dilemma that some employees working in the SMEs that they will face. And these are some minor times that you contribute. It's a cost that you do not see. But let's say, for example, if you're collecting cash, and then you need to bank in. So not all SMEs companies have the luxuries that the bank is just walking distance like next door. So you probably still need to drive there, then you still need to bank in. But one question is, let's say, what happens if something happens while you're traveling to the bank? What about robbery? If misplace of cash, theft. So you have a lot of subsequent repercussion things coming in. So all these minor things. Well, a lot of the SMEs companies, they don't see this. They think that okay, it's my business, I go and do it. But all these risks will come at a cost to the company, and this can be very important to place their survivors. So if they, let's say, so now after talking about this opportunity cost, so let's talk about the benefits if you embrace like a digital payment. So once you actually accept so-called like credit cards or wallet, all these things, there are a few things that actually the so-called the banks or those like payment solution providers actually help you. Firstly, they will send you a daily reconciliation. They will send you a daily settlement. Okay, so this one, they will actually remove out your so-called the time needed to do all these things. Secondly, they will actually send, remit the money, consolidate everything into one bank account. So you have a trail to actually follow through all this payment. So these are some of the benefits that actually, when it comes to the so-called embrace like a digital, payment is also considered like a digital, whether you are going cash or cashless. But of course, digital payments and cashless, right now you will see during the COVID situations, a lot of mom and pop shops start to have a different e-wallet stickers placing outside. So that itself actually will bring more benefits. I think when we are talking about COVID, recently because of the MCO, we are seeing a lot of people, a lot of companies start going to online, either creating their own website or going to some marketplaces, or even using Facebook, WhatsApp to do sales. Actually, this is a very good sign. Like it or not, actually, like what UI presented, actually right now the digital adoption is not really who is dictating, it's actually COVID-19 is dictating now. So well, this is a very good approach. Now you are using multiple channels to reach out to the sales. But we need to change the SME mindset in such that don't see this as just a channel to reach out to your customer to do sales. Actually, this kind of so-called multi-channels has more effect. Let's say, for example, if you are selling spectacles online, and let's say you created your own website. When you go to the website, probably I will just take a look at it. Okay, this is this product that I want. But subsequently, they probably think that okay, I don't want. So the journeys, the sales journeys with the customer were lost there. But if you embrace like so-called like digitalization or AI, all these things, you can do a multiple prongs of targeted marketing to them. So all these things, why digital? Like I do agree, data is important. Once you have the data with the AI, you can do a multiple prongs marketing strategies to the customer already. So I would strongly advise like try to embrace those like digital technologies that we have right now, rather than it's like don't know where to do, but if I know to the one to do. So once we can go through that barriers, change that mindset, then actually the benefits is tremendous. So I would say that's the benefits that actually brings to the merchants.
So if I hear correctly, right, basically you are saying that first of all, for the SMEs to adopt digitals, right? Beside a digital tool set that they have, beside the applications, beside the apps that on the hands, right? So it's more important to understand where the challenge come and how to help them to address the challenge. And the most important thing is help them to realize themselves, right? What kind of benefits they're going to reap from that if they are adopting it, right? So, but looking into this, there's a lot of awareness, there's a lot of facilitation required, right? So from the MDEC side, maybe Dr. Carl, you can you can share some of these initiative and support that MDEC looking in this.
So we look at this. I mean, we do provide a holistic, process of digitization, right? From the people from all walks of life. We do have programs around crowdsourcing, e-learning, for people to acquire new skill sets, digital skill sets, and able to do digital work. These are the micro tasks, to basically to earn extra income, right? And then we also look at Go e-commerce. E-commerce basically trying to get people to go online, to sell online, getting micro SMEs to really make use of these platforms, right? And a lot of these platforms are digitized in a way and have different tools and to be able to make use of it, to make use of data available to help them to sell, right? So that's actually one way to keep people educated, right? From a SME standpoint, we do have initiatives around the digitalization effort. Go 100 Go Digital is one of it. We also have programs around digital acceleration initiative where we're trying to get companies to go through this journey in this more structured way. And then incentives, right? The digitization grant is one of it. The smart automation grant is another. So it's actually available for companies who want to get certain incentive to go through this, right? And also for larger companies, right? So companies who already have data, for example, they've been doing it for some time. We also have initiative around trying to get companies to be AI ready. Our data-driven initiative. We actually work with the National Institute of Accountant and various parties to get companies to adopt some of this technology, right? And through the COVID as well, the additional initiative that we did was actually a digital versus COVID, where we actually have a list of 100 over solutions that's actually available for SMEs who wants to adopt, right? A lot of companies came forward and offering free solutions, right? For SMEs who want to adopt, right? So it's free adoption for 6 months to 1 year, right? So we do have this sort of initiative, right? On top of it, for companies or people who really want to learn some of these digital skills, right? We have a collaboration with Coursera, for example. It's actually an online learning platform where they're actually offering free training for anyone who are employed, who wants to upskill, so they're able to learn new skill sets, right? So the opportunity is there for everyone, and everyone needs to basically contribute to this. It's not just the role of government, but the whole ecosystem that needs to come together. Companies that have been there, done that, needs to share it with the other members so that they get inspired to adopt this, right? Even the younger talent as well. I think it's also their responsibility to tell their parents as well. I think a lot of them own businesses, and they need to contribute, right? To tell them what are the new things to use. Like Facebook Live is one of this. There are people that are even using just WhatsApp to basically connect and to get businesses, right? So this is actually a new opportunity, and we have to start from small steps and moving into fully digital, and then moving into data and then AI ready companies.
Interesting, right? So I will suppose there's more information that to publish outside, right? So I suppose this is one of the awareness that we had to focus, right?
So
Tell
everyone needs to do
the
it.
ground. Yeah. So I believe today, although there's a lot of program, right? Maybe some of this program is not even heard in the ground of SME, right? So that is the areas that maybe we need to look into. But looking into that to address the immediate needs in digital, I suppose maybe we see a challenge out there, right? The SME is in summary, the SME actually is very lagging on the real educable, right, and practical solutions that they can really look into immediately, right? That they know they can use it themselves, right? So we understand that the TM is in some planning roadmap, right, for some simple and affordable digital solutions over the Alpha Cloud, right? So to help the SME transforming in their business digitally, right? So having said, maybe we can have more understanding about this, more to share from Rajat.
TM has embarked on this Cloud Alpha in 2020, the beginning of 2020. There will be professional services of the cloud, managed services of the cloud services that we are selling. But I think as many of the members mentioned just now, for SME, for us to help them, especially in terms of the process, what we want to do sometime of this Q4 is to help SME to ease the adoption is by making the process simpler or faster for them. This is where we work with the SME bank, we work with Revenue, with Huawei, as well as JNJ, to make the process simpler. Meaning, so we have the fund, we have the technology, we match these two, and we make it easy for them to adopt that and to implement that to their business. So we hope this will make the adoption even better and help the business during this COVID challenge. I think that would be the immediate one that how TM can help, how TM do the Cloud Alpha promotion for the Q4 this year. We will have more, but that will be immediate one.
Yeah, good. But how about from the MDEC perspective, right? So is there any government policies that we really can look into in supporting the digital adoption, so that we lower the barriers on the adoption, right? We get more people move into it.
Right. So if you look at this, there are some efforts that done. The MITI actually has the industry forward policy. They're trying to get the manufacturing sectors to look into both IR related technology. I think apart from this, I think the latest Penjana initiative, I think it's a lot of incentives given to SMEs to really look into digitization and also to push the e-commerce as well, right? So these are some of the initiatives which is actually ongoing, and there are also other initiatives around trying to get more digital talent as well. I think this is where I think the organizations like SkyMine and even other organizations are actually working together with the universities to turn up more of this talent. And then apart from this, there's also a need to look at data as well, right? The Personal Data Protection Act, how we'll be able to use data is also being looked at. We're also looking at the national data sharing as well, where policy around the national data sharing is driven by the Ministry of Communication and Multimedia. They're also looking at that at the moment as well, right? But a lot of this, are needed, and these are actually enabled to really push digitalization moving forward. Because without data, you can't do AI. Without talent, you can't do AI. And even without infrastructure as well, you can't be able to scale this AI as well, right? And then what's important is actually the mindset of the people, right? and we can only drive mindset change if there's urgency and need to change, which is actually right now driven by COVID. But there's also incentives, reward as well, and also sometimes it's even regulation as well, right? So you need to push people to accept digital, right? And sometimes it could be very painful at the start, but it will be better for the long term. For example, it could be cashless, right? I mean, right now it's multi-channel, but then it really, like the certain lanes right now, right, in the highway, right? It's all digital, no cash, right? It's painful at first, but now everyone seems to know that, okay, before you go to the highway, you need to make sure that you top up, right? And I think that's the way to go forward as well, that we need to provide an avenue for everyone to go digital, and then making sure that everyone has the opportunity to go for it, and then eventually this becomes a standard, right? As digital becomes standard, and you can't reverse back to the old days like non-digital.
So from what I see, I would suppose this COVID-19 pandemic is really moving forward the adoption of this SME in using the digital technologies. So I suppose in this hopefully with the collaboration of Huawei that we have in the TM, right? So on this enable the first this local AI cloud in Malaysia, right? We're really able to help to fulfill the needs, right? We're able to help to accelerate the growth on this digital economy, right? So having said, I will suppose maybe we can open up some questions for the ground, right? For anyone to forward some of your doubts, some of the questions, right, to the panel, right? So I'm not too sure whether, let's see whether there's any questions there.
You see, you mentioned about the platform, the cloud-based or the stuff for what the rest of it. I think that's very key fundamental thing we need to do. If we want to have a Broadway access of helping in micro SMEs, because the largest amount is micro SMEs, most of them are micro SMEs. Yeah. So how to get it through the line? You're right. Government trying to help, put in grants, but the process is so difficult. Like imagine you go 10,000, 5,000 to 5,000 grants. I'm telling many times even to MDEC and to Ministry of Finance. You let BSN do, when you go apply, BSN say you want to use your full amount of 5,000, you got to supply together. Maybe even free solution, you put together and supply. You cannot go one by one. You go one, sorry, this one more. So you are creating barrier. You're using your bank's incapability process and putting not helping the nation. Right? To me, very simple. If government really help these people, only pay money. You register properly. Huawei, like Huawei, give a good platform. It's free for you to use. You may be free, but in terms of cost, probably is just very low. Free to the SMEs. Maybe very small amount, maybe 1,000, 1,500. Pay for them. What's wrong with that? You pay them 5,000, 5 plus 5, very hard. They don't need it. If you give free and then you have a real solution for them to go online, which includes a full package, like you say you have, all the solutions within your cloud services, why not you provide that? Work with the government. That proposal may have to come from MDEC or any other agency, put towards MOF and get it done, rather than apply like shit, sorry to say the word, but get through all the unnecessary process of getting done, you get rid of 1,000 again. SME says, sorry, I'm not going to do it. So those I think we should look into it. I don't know how you all think, in general.
Yeah, so fully agree with you. Perhaps maybe this is a time that they can. I would suppose the most important thing is the SME has to put out the first step to try first, right? For example, here at the bottom right corner, there's a free package 1,000. We have all the 3 different applications inside, right? Commerce, sharing of data information that within their company, then digitize their HR process, right? So this is a good start for them. So if they're not even willing to put on this first step, then it's very difficult even for the government to judge them. Pardon?
How much free account are you giving out?
We are giving here we are giving out 150.
Very small lah. So the government don't pay 1,000. There's tons of people who will take it out.
Yeah.
So exactly. So what I'm trying to say here is, I suppose yes, this thing is a two-way, right? The government will try to help, yes, but they also have the constraint, right? From one angle is basically we are looking into is it a program appropriate? Is it a program inclusive, right? Like one of the SME raised the questions, right, on the NDEP side, whether this with the criteria kind of these offers, right? Is it only offer to the unemployed, right? Is it open for all the members, right? This is something that we need to look into, right? So this is from the angle. From the other side, from the SME itself, right? So are they proactively looking for these kind of solutions? Then if they are proactively looking into this kind of solution, are they also taking the initiative to move for the step, right? So this one maybe Dr. Kao, you can have some comments.
Yeah, so if you look at the Lesson and Data Digital campaign, it's like Coursera. Coursera has a certain condition because we work with multiple partners, right? So Coursera, they it's basically for people who are unemployed, who are in between jobs, etc. You can actually apply and then they allow you access, right? But it's not the case often, for different players, right? For example, Coursera also, while this is paid, free for unemployed, but actually Coursera itself, it's actually you can access any content inside, but the only thing is if you want to get the certification, you need to pay, right? So if your interest is just to learn there's a lot of opportunity. Coursera is one example, right? So there's a lot of other examples like DataCamp, a lot of training providers or even the online MOOCs, etc. is actually providing this as free, right? I think if you have interest to learn, there's actually a lot of opportunity to learn online. But you need to take the first step, and you need to try first. And then if it's of certain value, then you need to pay or you need to get other incentives to continue, right? But the cost is actually not high anyway to continue in online learning. Yeah.
So if I hear from you correctly, I was suppose Coursera is only one of the program, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot more other program, right, for the SME to try on, right? So I was suppose maybe after this, NDEC can also share on the public portal and things like that, where they can get this kind of category of program, right, for them to apply and things like that. Then I will suppose this one give more clarities, right? So and then if that is the case, then maybe from my side, maybe I do some conclusion here, right, for our session, right? So from what I gather this from our discussion here, right? First of all, is in the essence that technology is always to solve the problem, right? That it become although the problem can become very inevitable and even raise in the adoptions of during the time of implementing this AI, right? So or the digital technology. But having said, we never neglect that this kind of problem will always focus into this scarcities of talents, and then the gap of knowledge from the industry about the digital technologies, right? So these are among the more critical issue that we need to adopt, right? We need to look into to help the SME to understand better, right? Rather than just focus into what is the hardware to do it and what is the software to apply it, right? So from the other side, I suppose we are talking about yes, there's a infrastructure needs. There is these investments required for the equipment and things like that, and it could be expensive, right? But in order to make these technologies affordable, right, it need to be implemented in the large scale, right? It need to be always made available, right? So having said, I would suppose TM on for example, the cloud alpha infrastructure is very important, right, to help to lower the barrier of adoptions for these markets, right? So for this, I would suppose the more important thing is AI now is not impossible for for the SME, right? So with this kind of platform solutions, right? With this kind of this facilitation from the governments and I suppose, right? The whole industry is trying to help to bring up the SME, right? So and then from the third point that we see, basically AI had to be easy to use, right? By the learner, right? And then the AI training must be always made available locally, right? So I would suppose this is a point touched by the SkyMind as well, right? So this is the only way to encourage more innovations, right, from the ecosystem partners through the learning of these digital technologies, right? And then along the way, how we commercialize the technology for the SME adoption. Right. So for the point number 4, I would suppose it will be very important, right, for the open ecosystem and the good summary on the index, right, comments, right, pertaining to the there must be beside of infra, beside of facilitation, it must be a right this policy and initiative, right, to continue support, right, for example, in the areas of this integrated supply chain, right, cross-border trading for the SME, right, in order to continue to foster the adoption rates, right. So having said, I would suppose one of the things that personally I would like to add on, right. So we always talk about data. Data is the fundamentals of this AI, right. So and it must be respected in the compliance of these laws and regulations. So from these areas, I would suppose, right, it's important as part of the adoption of the digital technologies, it's important to safeguard the data information. At the same time, it is both parties, right, the adopters, which is the SMEs are using it, and the providers, right, to work together hand in hand to make this safe data for them to use, right. So from the ground, I would suppose maybe I'm missing any other points, right? You would like to add on any? Right. So if you don't have, then I will suppose we can call it a session for today, right? So you hope this will be beneficial to all our live audience, right? So for them to have more understanding about digital and AI in the business, right? So also hopefully this one giving this more holistic view, right, pertaining to the technology advantage, right, to this feasible economic contributions, right. So I would say maybe we should leave this offer to the SME to adopt, right, on this QR code, give a scan on it, right, try out this application yourself, and then right, so wish you a good luck in all your business, right. Thank you.